नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते राधानाथ स्वामी नित्य नामिनी। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नित्य नामिनी। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात्य देशतारिणी। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजन सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसूते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ईश्वर परमः कृष्ण सच्चिदानंद विग्रह अनादिरादिर् गोविंदः सर्वकारण कारणम्। Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. By the causeless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, we are nicely studying Bhagavad Gita, the king of the secrets. So that is Raja Guhyam. Krishna is teaching us in Bhagavad Gita. Now we are in the 18th chapter. We finished 48 verses. All the slokas which we are studying now and the remaining slokas in the 18th chapter, they are of so much knowledge, in the sense that gives us so much happiness to know directly from Krishna that the only way for us is to just surrender unto him with love and affection. That's what is going to solve all our problems. So, by Krishna's mercy, we are able to understand this Bhagavad Gita, the song of God. And now, by Krishna's causeless mercy, we are also able to follow his instructions because we are studying Bhagavad Gita. And since we are studying Bhagavad Gita again and again, so that keeps us in Krishna consciousness on a daily basis. That's what very important. In this, well, actually, for our brain also, something which we don't remember or recollect for a long time, then it's very difficult to remember. For example, some names, phone numbers, or anything, even face also. So we cannot recognize easily if we have not met that person for a very, very long time, or the name and all such things. Because we need to understand that what is stored in our long-term memory, that's we have short-term memory and long-term memory. So long-term memory, we have to go and retrieve it, correct? So retrieval. So retrieval means it has to, like in a computer, we have something, you put a search option to go and get some name. Maybe you don't know which folder or which directory it is there. And if you have so many different files and folders, it's going to take longer time to go and get it. So like that only in our brain, it is exactly like that only. So it's all just, the information is stored in our brain in different forms. That's it. So that information, we need to actually, the reason why I'm saying all these things, because if we don't get in touch with Bhagavad Gita, if we don't keep in contact with Krishna, Bhagavad Gita, this knowledge, so then we will tend to forget and then it's very difficult for us to even realize and remember, understand that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So this knowledge should be there with us all the time. So that means every day we have to study and understand this Bhagavad Gita. That's what we are doing. Because that keeps us in Krishna consciousness. That's what helping us to maintain our Krishna consciousness. So we have to be very, very serious in this, and of course we are. That's why we are studying this Bhagavad Gita. And another important reason we are studying this Bhagavad Gita is that it's bringing us so much happiness. Whenever any sloka we hear, whenever we understand about Krishna's glories, for example, in the 10th chapter, in the Vibhuti Yoga, we understand about Krishna's opulence and Krishna's Viswarupa, universal form. So everything is going to bring us so much happiness, because the more we know about Krishna, the more we are going to enjoy. That's what. Our enjoyment is directly proportional to our connection with Krishna. If you are very strongly connected with Krishna, we are going to enjoy very much. It's like internet speed. We talk in terms of so many Mbps per second, something like that. So like that, it has to be a very strong connection with Krishna. We need to establish. And that is possible only with this Bhagavad Gita knowledge, because we are constantly hearing from Krishna. And when our connection is extremely very, very strong and powerful, so then we are always going to remember Krishna. So that means our brain is going to be filled with only about Krishna's pastimes, about Krishna's Gita, this Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's songs. So that's what we need to fill our brain with, all this information. So then we need to keep recollecting, keep retrieving that information from our brain, so that we will never forget. So that way, when our brain is completely, now we have to reformat our brain, in the sense, already we don't have to, we are studying this Bhagavad Gita for so long. So in the beginning, if anyone, they have to just clean. We need to clean our brain from all our material information, material knowledge, in the sense, of course, we need some material knowledge, what we need to have it in our life to run our life smoothly, that Krishna gives anyhow. But all kinds of unwanted information, everyday junk information, which is getting into our brain. So that's what we need to be very careful. There are so many things about the movies, or about the games, or about the media, the news, and the politics, and all such things when we hear and every day when we study, when we read in the newspapers, or when we hear from others, all this junk information, it should not be stored in our brain. That means we should not give way to these things, because then it's very difficult for us to store about Krishna and remember Krishna. So that way we will get distracted very easily from every day in our day-to-day life. So that way this life itself is going to be, anyhow we know that at the time of death we are going to lose all our memory. Not only at the time of death, actually when a person gets old, also immediately we will have all kinds of memory loss, memory problems, dementia, Alzheimer's, so many different kinds of diseases, especially when it comes to brain. So it's very, very difficult for us actually. So that's why we have to keep ourselves very active, and we need to make sure that our brain is only full of thoughts about Krishna. So when Krishna says that chittaga, so that means thoughts. So thinking about Krishna. So if you have to think about Krishna all the time, then our brain should be stored only about Krishna's memories only. So then only we can think about Krishna all the time. So that way, we have to very consciously every day. So we are studying this Bhagavad Gita, we are understanding about Krishna, we are learning about Krishna's pastimes, and we understand about his opulence, and we know that everything is coming from Krishna. And Krishna is the source of everything. What we studied in the 10th chapter, if you just know that without any confusion, then we are freed from all sins. Asammodaga samartyesu sarva papaigi pramuchyate. So we just have to know. So know means we need to keep knowing. We need to keep remembering. We need to keep this information in our brain all the time. So that way, all the time when we meet any other devotee, we can talk only about Krishna, nothing else. We don't want to talk about anything else which is happening in this material world, because they are all temporary. They are all of no value. So we cannot waste our time in this material world like that. So that way, we have to do everything only for Krishna. With the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita only, that is possible, because Krishna is giving us so much of knowledge that we are able to focus our mind on Krishna every day. So that's what Krishna consciousness means. So this Bhagavad Gita, which is the king of knowledge, it is giving us all the information what we need to know about Krishna. So by Krishna's causeless mercy, now we are successfully studying in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So we finished 48 slokas. So now we already understood about the difference between sannyasa and tyaga, and the three types of tyaga based on three modes of nature. And we also understood very clearly about the jnana, karma, karta. There is the knowledge, performer, and there is the action, knowledge, action, performer. Then vritti, buddhi, sukha. So there is determination, there is buddhi, vritti, sukha. So there is a knowledge and determination and happiness. So there is buddhi, intelligence, happiness, determination, everything in three modes of material nature we have understood very, very clearly. And also Krishna has explained very clearly to us about the four varnas, basically how the qualities of every varna is how it is coming from their individual svabhavajam. So that's what we studied in all these slokas. So now Krishna's mercy, we are studying. Krishna is teaching us that how by simply following our activities based upon our svabhava, we are going to free ourselves from this material world. So that's what Krishna is teaching. That's what we studied last week. So in this sloka number 45, what we studied in the 18th chapter. Sve sve karmani abhiratah samsiddhim labate nara svakarmana niratah siddhim yatha vindati tachru. Sve sve karmani abhiratah. So by performing one's own duties, one's own occupations, samsiddhim labate naraga. So the nara, so the human beings, so they get siddhi, perfection. Then Krishna is teaching us that swakarma nirattaka. So by performing our swakarma, so siddhim yatha vindati tachno. How one can enjoy the perfection, you hear that from me. Tachno. That's what Krishna is saying. By following his qualities of work, every man can become perfect. Now please hear from me how this can be done. Yathaga pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatham svakarmana tamabhyarchya siddhim vindati manavaga. Yathaga pravrittir bhutanam, from whom all living entities came. From whom? So emanated. From whom all living entities emanated. Yathaga pravrittir bhutanam. By whom everything is pervaded. Yena. By whom? Sarvam idam tatam. Everything is pervaded. So there is who? Krishna. From whom? From Krishna. By whom? By Krishna. From whom? So from Krishna everything emanated. By whom? So by Krishna everything is pervaded. Svakarmana tham abhyarchyam. So if we just worship him and render devotional service unto him, so then siddhim vindati manavaga. Then we are going to experience, we are going to enjoy the perfection. That's what we are going to do there. We are already experiencing that. That's why we are here studying Bhagavad Gita. By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work. Then in the next sloka, which is also studied in the 3rd chapter also, Sheyan Swadharmo Vigunaha Paradharmat Swanushtita Svabhavaniyatam Karma Kurvannapnoti Kilbisham. Sheyan Swadharmo Vigunaha. Even if a person performs his own duty imperfectly, that is better. Sheyan. Sheyan means that is better. Paradharmat Swanushtita. Compared to performing others' duty perfectly. So compared to performing others' occupation perfectly, even if a person performs his own duty imperfectly, that is better because we are just following our svabhava. So that means we are not attached to the results. So that way we don't have to be very, very perfect. Swabhava niyatam karma, because if we just follow our swabhava and perform our prescribed duties, then we are not going to accumulate any sins. That's what Krishna is teaching us. That knowledge we need to have. So simply by performing our own duties, we are not going to commit any sins. This message Krishna gave many times in Bhagavad Gita. It's better to engage in one's own occupation even though one may perform it imperfectly than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reactions. Then in the next sloka, what we are studying, in this sloka number 48, Sahajam karma kaunteya sadoshamapi natyaje sarvaram bahi toshena Dhumenagniravritha. Sakajam karma kaunteya. That's what we need to understand. Why Krishna is saying that Sakajam, it is born together. What is born together? Dosham, the faults. So that's why in the previous sloka, Sheyan Swadharmo Vigunaga. It's better to perform one's own duty even if it is full of fault, even if it is imperfectly done. So because here Krishna is saying it because it is Sakajam. It's born simultaneously. What? The faults. One cannot be perfect at all. In this material way, we cannot expect perfection in every activity what we are doing. So that part we need to understand very clearly. It's a very important science we need to understand. Because first of all, we know that there are 5 factors. Right? We are not the only factor. So if the other factors are not coming together, we cannot do it to our perfection. So that's what we need to understand. So that's why Krishna is saying that Sakajam karma kaunteya sadosamapi natyaje sarvaramba doshena dhumena agni ivavritagam. So in all activities, these faults are just like the fire is covered by smoke. So that way we will be finding faults in every activity, but that's okay. So that's what Krishna is teaching. Every endeavor is covered by some fault, just as fire is covered by smoke. Therefore, one should not give up the work born of his nature, O son of Kunti, even if such work is full of fault. Then what we are studying for this week, this sloka starting from 49. Asakta buddhi sarvatra jitatma vigata sprihah naiskarmya siddhim parama sannyasena adhigacchati. Asakta buddhi sarvatra. So we should not be attached to anything. That's what is very important. Krishna has told many, many times in Bhagavad Gita very clearly that this word asakta. Asakta means we should not be attached. Tasmat asakta satatam karyam karma samacharan asakto yacharan karma paramapnoti purushaka. So if you are not attached, asakto yacharan karma, when we perform our actions, activities without any attachment, then we are going to get the end result is the supreme destination. That's what Param Siddhi. So here Krishna is saying that asakta buddhi sarvatra jitatma vigata. So jitatma, having conquered ourselves, so conquered our mind. So that's what conquered ourselves. So vigata sprigaka, free from all desires. Vigata sprigaka, naiskarmya siddhim paramam. So then we will get, we won't get any reaction for our actions. That's what naiskarmya. So naiskarmya means there's not going to be any reaction. So that's what the supreme siddhim. So the supreme perfection, sannyasena adhigacchati. So that's what we get. Sannyasa means we are not attached to the results. It's not sannyasa means renouncing the actions. Sannyasa means renouncing the results. So that's what we need to understand. One who is self-controlled and unattached and who disregards all material enjoyments can obtain by practice of renunciation the highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction. Then in the next sloka, what Krishna is continuing, this sloka number 15. Siddhim prapto yatha brahma tatha pnoti nibodame Samasenaiva kaunteya nishtanyānasya ya para. Siddhim prapta. Once we get siddhim, once we get perfection, that's what asakta buddhi sarvatra. So when we are not attached to anything, we are going to get siddhi. So then what is going to happen when we get siddhi perfection? We are going to go to Goloka. Yatha Brahma. We are going to go to Brahman. There is Krishna as well. Tatapnoti vibodame. You hear from me how one can achieve Brahman after getting perfection. After achieving perfection, how one can attain Brahman. So you hear from me. And vibodame, I explain to you. So understand from me. I have explained to you summarily. So samasena. So in summary, I will explain to you. You understand from me. Nistanyānasya ya param. So that is the supreme transcendental stage. So nista. So that is the stage where you are having full knowledge. Para jnanasya. It is the transcendental stage of having the knowledge. So that's what Krishna is teaching here. O son of Kunti, learn from me how one who has achieved this perfection can attain to the supreme perfectional stage Brahman, the stage of highest knowledge, by acting in the way I shall now summarize. So what Krishna is going to teach in the next sloka, in this sloka number 51 to 53, we are studying 3 slokas. Buddhya visuddhaya yukto dhrityatmanam niyamya sabdadi vishayam styaktva ragadveshav vyudasya vivikta sevi lagvasi yatava kaya manasaga dhyana yoga paraparo nityam vairagyam samupashitaga ahankaram balam darpam kamam krodam parigraham nirma vimuchya nirmamaga shanto brahma bhuyaya kalpate. That's what, how to attain that Brahman. Buddhya visuddhaya yukto. So purifying ourselves completely with intelligence, and dhrityatmanam niyamyacham. So with determination, so controlling our mind, so regulating everything. Dhrityatmanam niyamyacham. Sabdadim visayams tyaktva. So by giving up all kinds of sense objects, attachment to the sense objects, starting from sabda, this sound, beginning from sound, all 5 different sense objects. So sabdadim, vishayams, tyaktva, ragadvesha, yudhasyacham. So not affected by attachment or aversion, free from attachment and aversion. Ragadvesha, yudhasyacham, vivikta sevi, lagvasi. Vivikta sevi means living in a solitary place. So lagvasi means eating little. So lagvasi, eating enough, only little. No, don't eat too much. Yatavakaya manasagam. So by controlling the speech, body and mind and everything. Dhyana yoga paro nityam. So by engaging ourselves in dhyana yoga, we studied in the 6th chapter very well. So paro dhyana yoga paro nityam, always engaged in this dhyana yoga with vairagya, with detachment, vairagyam samupashitagam, with detachment, ahankaram, balam, darpam, kamam, krodam, parigraham, by giving up the false ego and false strength, false prestige, darpam, and kamam, krodam, there is the lust, anger, everything, vimuchya. So that's what everything, parigraham means completely, by completely giving up vimuchya, by freed from all these things, nirmamaha. So not thinking that this is mine. So nirmamaha, free from proprietorship. That's what. Shanto. So by having a peace of mind. So Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. So he will achieve the Brahman. So that's what Krishna is teaching us. So we need to gain all these qualities, which is going to come when we achieve perfection. So that's what Krishna is teaching here. So being purified by his intelligence and controlling the mind with determination, giving up the objects of sense gratification, being freed from attachment and hatred, one who lives in a secluded place, who eats little, who controls his body, mind, and power of speech, who is always in trance and who is detached, free from false ego, false strength, false prestige, lust, anger, and acceptance of material things, free from false proprietorship and peaceful. Such a person is certainly elevated to the position of self-realization. So by Krishna's costless mercy, we have successfully finished up to 53 slokas in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Now let us chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra and focus our mind on the transcendental sound vibration. So we'll chant 2 rounds, which will roughly take about 15 minutes. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Radhanath Swami Nitinamini. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavani Paschitya Desatarini. Om Jnanatimirādasya Jnanājana Salakaya Chakshurunīmittamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasa Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaurabhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Mithun Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Guruji, how are you?
Hare Krishna, by Krishna's classless blessing and kind Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guruji, for the wonderful class. No questions for today.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Hare Ram.
Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Tina Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Guruji, for today's class. Also, it's too late for you.
Yes, Mataji. Krishna's mercy. We are able to study. We are nicely understanding our 18th chapter very well. Yes,
Yes, Guruji. Thank you so much, Guruji.
thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. R.K. Goyal Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Thanks for a wonderful class, Guruji. Very nice, nicely going on. Everything is fine. No more questions, Guruji. Thank you very much. So grateful to you for your continuous guidance. Hare Krishna, Guruji. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Sumati Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for the class, Guruji. And this is a good chapter, the 18th chapter, to summarize all the different
Yes.
things, different ways in which we have to think, act, and do, and
Yes,
all those things.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Guruji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Thank you for taking the classes, Guruji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Mataji. Hare Krishna. Ganesh Rupa Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Mahendra Shukla Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
No questions, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Mahendra Shukla Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavad Pranam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rumbo Nandi, sir. Hare Krishna.
Nisa Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the class today, Guruji. Thank you for keeping us in Krishna consciousness. Thank you, Guruji. Every day we are learning so much. Even though our progress is very small, little by little we are
Day by
progressing.
day. Yes, ma'am. Cumulative
Yes,
progress.
Guru. Yes, Guruji. But there is a change in everything, in every aspect in our life. because of this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita that we are getting.
Yes.
So the way we are thinking, the way we are doing things, everything is changing, Guruji.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your efforts, Guruji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Hare Ram. Hare Krishna. Lakshmi Shri Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guruji. Pranam, Guruji.
Pranam, Prabhu.
The costless mercy of Krishna. We are studying Bhagavad Gita, Rajaguhyam, and 18th chapter, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. Bhagavad Gita's knowledge is full of happiness. It is directly we are hearing from Krishna. We are able to follow Krishna's instructions. For us, it is very difficult to remember everything for a long time. Our brain is also like a computer storing in different parts. Every day we have to study Bhagavad Gita and to keep everything in memory. Junk memory should not be stored in our brain. We need to establish only brain should be full of thoughts of Krishna only and memories of Krishna only. Then we can establish very strong connection with Krishna. We know that Krishna is the source of everything. With the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, we can understand Krishna's opulence. Then in the last slokas, 18th chapter, 48th sloka, it is explained that one should not refrain from normal prescribed duties born of one's nature. Even with fault, one should perform only duties according to his own swabhava, because as fire is covered by smoke, perform according to one's own swabhava, though it is not perfect. Then in the 18th chapter, 49th sloka, Krishna says, having unattached intelligence, having control of mind, without material desires, he will get perfection by renunciation. Supreme perfection he will attain. Then in the 50th sloka, Krishna is telling, once you get perfection, unattached to material world, you will go to Brahman. How one can attain Brahman, you hear from me the summary of the supreme transcendental stage, how it can be achieved. Then in the slokas 51 to 53, Krishna is telling, with the intelligence fully purified, engaged by determination to control our mind, regulating everything, giving up all kinds of attachments with sense objects, then that person living in a solitary place, eating enough, controlling speech, body, and mind by engaging in dhyana yoga with detachment of ahankara, egotism, false prestige, anger, everything, then he will achieve Brahman. Such a person situated in peace will definitely achieve Brahman. Very nicely told. Thank you very much, Guruji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Vishnuvardhana Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Sunil Srivas Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Guruji, Dandavat Pranam Guruji.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
Ram Hare.
I'm making Prasad Guruji for Krishna.
Very nice, Prabhu. Very nice. Wonderful.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam Guruji.
Dandavat Pranam.
Pranam Guruji.
Pranam Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Pranam Guruji.
Pranam Prabhu. Pranam. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for the wonderful class, Guruji. Today's slogas are very, very important, very, very interesting and very knowledgeable, Guruji.
Yes.
And this slogas 53 is summarized everything, Guruji. All these qualities, if you want to get it, it's a lifelong effort. It is not very easy.
That's
things.
right.
That's what I'm just thinking, Guruji. Getting all these qualities very difficult, I think. Let us see. Thank you, Guruji. Thank you so much. Because of you, we are learning at least every day new things, Guruji. Thank you. Thank you for your effort. Hare Krishna, Guruji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Ram. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Vrinda Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guruji, for keeping us connected to Bhagavad Gita. It's very, very nice that we are connected actually to Krishna, but it is your connection with us, Guruji. Thank you so much, Guruji. Guruji, what actually Tyagi and renunciation is similar meaning, no?
What, Mataji?
Tyag, to do tyag and renunciation.
Yeah, Tyaga, renunciation. Yeah, renunciation. Sannyasa is, yeah, Tyaga, renunciation, similar meaning. Sannyasa and Tyaga is little bit different.
That's what. So, sannyasa is also tyag. That person who takes sannyasa is also doing a lot of tyag. But we also, in our practical life, very often we also do so many sacrifices. So,
Yes.
how is the distinction to be made?
Yes. So without Tyaga, there is no sannyasa. Yes.
So Tyaga and Tapa means penance.
Yam sannyasam iti prahu yogam tam vidhi pandava. Acha sannyasta yogasta. So yam sannyasam iti prahu yogam tam vidhi pandava. That's what Krishna. What is known as sannyasa is also known as yoga. What is known as yoga is also Tyaga. So sannyasa and Tyaga is.
Yes.
Only by renunciation alone, sannyasa alone, one cannot achieve perfection. One has to do Tyaga also.
Yes, Guruji. Yes, it has a deeper meaning inside. Yes, Guruji. Thank you so much, Guruji. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you, Guruji. Hare Krishna.
Vishnu Vardhanara Prabhu, Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
Rama, Hare Hare.
Namaste.
Namaste, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Mohan Prabhu, you raise your hand, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
No, Guruji, by mistake, Guruji.
By mistake. Okay.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Anita Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guruji. Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Pranam, Mataji. Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Thank you so much for the class.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. Pranam, Guruji.
Pranam, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Let us listen to Srila Prabhupada's Kirtan now.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.